Hi, and welcome to the next episode of Have We Thought This Through? This one is all about the intriguing differences between summary and synthesis. And I am attempting to walk and talk and be in a beautiful autumnal forest at the same time. So who knows how we're going to get on. So let's start with what do we mean by summary and synthesis? So summary is a kind of an act of distillation. It's all about taking something that's perhaps more complex and boiling it down to its essentials. We'll all know brilliant editorial minds that can take long, overly complicated statements and boil them down into something that makes everyone feel more intelligent and cogent, frankly. What's very interesting about summary is anyone that's been playing around with the various generative AI tools will probably have come to find that it's rather excellent at doing this task. I will often put a document that I've been writing through something like ChatGPT and ask it to summarise it, condense it, tighten it up, and on the whole it's pretty excellent at it. In fact, the new ChatGPT in canvas mode for me is a bit of a breakthrough, because you can kind of tailor where you want that focus to go in terms of its summarising lens, so to speak. Synthesis, on the other hand, is kind of two processes in one. It's both a kind of condensing and a bringing to some form of conclusion, but it's often also an additive process where we are combining many different sources and drawing them together into a fine weave that is peculiar and idiosyncratic. So, for example, if someone was to commission 3 or 4 different thinkers to create a synthesis of the current state of AI in education, they would likely come up with 4 entirely different syntheses. And so that means that the choice that one would make about which mind, which beings are doing that synthesizing work is absolutely crucial. It's a personality-driven field, I would say. It's interesting when we think about what humans can bring to the party in regards summary and synthesis as compared to what our latest artificial intelligence tools can bring to the party. So one thing that humans can bring to the party for sure is a sense of contextual judgment. This being able to understand in an act of summarising what in fact are the most salient details. And not only would they be kind of very contextually relevant, as in who is the reader, who is the understander of this new summary. It's interesting to think about that actually, even when it's yourself. What do I need to understand about this more complicated document? And therefore, what choices am I making about the 30 or 40 concepts it might convey? And I'm going to have to get rid of, say, 20 of those. Which are the ones that are worthy of keeping? Which ones, when lost, will lose incredibly valuable insights and information. So humans as context radars is a really powerful thing that we can bring. So with synthesis, the specific mind and personality, essence of that person doing, or even team doing that work, that synthetic work, has a huge bearing on what will come out of that process. Essentially, the humans are busily joining the dots between things. They might be joining the dots between incredibly unobvious things that are normally considered to be disconnected. And it's through all kinds of metaphoric gambits, allusions, and drawing together a sense of commonality that this synthesis can happen. Humans can be incredibly illogical and irrational in fantastically useful ways. And when we think about the synthesis that we might do around some research that is about humans, then often having that combination of humans working on that synthetic process and bringing all of their intriguing and strange ideas to the table is essential. If we're honest about it, we could say that there's a kind of poetry going on in the way that humans draw connections between things. And this is often hard for processes that are relying on statistical layers to deliver it in quite the same way. That's not to say that those more algorithmic processes can't find fantastic insights. They often can, and often the very kind of insights that humans struggle to spot. A key thing that humans can bring to the task of synthesis is considering the ideas through ethical and moral lenses. And there's something interesting and irresolvable about that process, such that no two humans might fundamentally agree on what is right or wrong. Humans are incredibly well placed to deal with ambiguity and uncertainty. They can allow that ambiguity through the lens into the synthesis, into the new argument, instead of trying to flatten it out or resolve it entirely. And this is because humans fundamentally understand that we live in an uncertain reality. There is a humility that's required, a kind of acceptance that some of the things that one will boil down are, we simply don't understand this phenomena or phenomenon yet. A human synthesist might be able to notice the absence of information in the sources that they are working with. They might be able to spot voices that are not present in the evidence base or in the arguments so far. And this might lead that human to say, in their synthesis, this is true on the basis of only what we have uncovered so far. This means that we can avoid the overly neat tie-up conclusion. We can instead offer up in our human synthesis a way of leaving ambiguity usefully in as part of the puzzle. As I said in earlier videos, actually the process of investigation and synthesis can lead us to a whole new, better set of questions. I was talking to my good friend and fabulous thinker Paul Finn the other day, and he was pointing out that maybe this video should have been about summary, synthesis and speculation as a third verb. He made a good point in that summary is taking something that exists and condensing it to its essence, and synthesis is this kind of way of combining different ideas and sources into something new that is built from something existing in the world. And maybe speculation is this third thing, a kind of forward-looking version, and potentially forms the basis of this idea around designing, creating speculative futures, speculative fictions. And if that was the case, then maybe we can actually bring all three of these things together in really interesting ways. And just a little anecdote on that. I'll do a longer video on it soon, but I was once chatting to a person that was running an agency, and he was talking about there being these two different mindsets around speculative futures. One is start from now and imagine forwards, if you like, spooling out from our understanding of our present reality. And the other is to start in the distance and imagine something that is in some ways decoupled from the now, and then comes back towards us through time and tries to imagine what we would need to do to create such a reality. More on that, I think, in a more dedicated video. Thank you very much for coming with me on this woodland walk on a Sunday in Norfolk. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.